Assalamu alaikum. Raza.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
I'd just like to ask you for the record, what is your full name?
Syed Ali Raza Rizvi.
Syed Ali Raza Rizvi. And where are you from?
Originally from Pakistan, Lahore.
Okay. And you've been here quite long?
Most of my life.
Okay, I'm going to jump straight into it. Usually I ask a few personal questions, but there's no need. It's a pleasure to have you at our centre.
Thank you.
The reason I'd like to raise this interview today is there was a few questions from a Wahabbi brother, and he posed these questions very openly in general terms for Shias, an open invitation for Shias to answer. And some of the questions are valid, they have some very good logic behind them, and I think they warrant an answer. So the topic is questions for Shias who believe that imams are superior to prophets. So the first question, please don't mind if they're offensive or if they're quite silly, these are just for the general public. If you believe that imams are superior to prophets, then please cite an example of this from the glorious Quran.
In Surah Al Imran, Surah number 3, verse number 67, and the Holy Prophet is asked when Christians come to him, and continuously they emphasize on believing in Jesus to be Son of God. He says, leave Trinity, and when they do not believe in what he's saying, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Nad abna'ana wa abna'akum
Okay.
wa anfusana wa nisana wa nisakum wa anfusana wa anfusakum.
What does that mean?
The verse is long, and it says that whoever requires a debate from you after the knowledge that has come, then tell them to bring their sons and you bring your sons. Tell them to bring their women and you bring yours, and then tell them to bring their nafs, their selves, and you bring yours. And the Holy Prophet only took in the place of nafs,
Yes.
Imam Ali alayhi salam.
Okay.
So Imam Ali alayhi salam and Baydawi, who is one of the greatest mufassirin of Ahl Sunnah, in his tafsir says that this is sufficient, this one verse is sufficient for all the Rafida, Shias,
Yes.
to not only believe that Ali is better than all the Sahaba, but he's better than all the other prophets other than the Holy Prophet because of this one ayah,
Yes.
where Allah has called Ali the nafs of the Holy Prophet.
I'm going to ask you, this ayat, is it not referred to in Shia Hadith as Mubayla?
Yes, Mubahala.
Okay. Now, it doesn't still explicitly mention the word imam in the Quran at this specific juncture, even though you've said there's some Sunni alims who have confirmed this to be a correct verse related to the tafsir. So can you, again, why would Allah not simply ask Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam to explicitly say imam? Why can't he just say imam in the Quran?
There are many verses that mention the word imam explicitly. Yawma nad'u kulla unasim bi imamihim. On the day of judgment, we'll bring all the people with the imam of their time.
Okay.
In Musnad Ahmad bin Hanbal, the Holy Prophet says that man mata wa lam ya'rif imama zamanihi faqad mata mitat al-jahiliyyah. Whoever dies without the recognition of the imam of his time has died the death of ignorance. Jahiliyyah does not just mean ignorance here, but the time of Jahiliyyah, meaning pre-Islamic time.
Yeah.
Now, Allama Amini asked more than 80 Sunni muftis in Jamiat al-Azhar, when they were all sitting, when they had invited him, that do you believe that this hadith is authentic? They said yes, all of us believe that this hadith is authentic. When they all admitted that it is authentic, he asked one question: did Fatima Zahra know the imam of her time, or did she not know the imam of her time?
Right.
He says that within 5 minutes, everyone walked out of the room. Did not wish to answer that question. So the word imam has appeared in the Holy Quran, it has appeared in the traditions of the Holy Prophet. وَإِذِ ابْتَلَى إِبْرَاهِيمَ رَبُّهُ بِكَلِمَاتٍ فَأَتَمَّهُنَّ قَالَ إِنِّي جَاعِلُكَ لِلنَّاسِ إِمَامًا. Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam has been named imam. We will call every nation by the imam of their time. So the word imam has appeared not just once, but many a times in the Holy Quran.
Can I ask you a question there? Because you mentioned Hazrat Ibrahim, may peace and blessings be upon him. He was also referred to as an imam, but was also a prophet.
Yes.
So this is kind of a dual title.
Yes.
Again, this is one of my questions which I was going to come on to. So how does that work? I mean, how can you be an imam and a prophet at the same time? And was the status of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam the status of a prophet and an imam also, or was it not? And what's the difference therefore?
Now we have sometimes different titles. Nabi, which is translated into English as a prophet, which is not an accurate translation, but that's a general translation we use, Nabi.
Yeah.
And then there is another term which is Rasul, which is in English translated as messenger or an apostle. Now every Rasul is Nabi, but not every Nabi is Rasul. So
Okay.
every Rasul has two titles anyway.
Right.
Ibrahim was Nabi and Rasul. He was also Khalil. He had the third title that no other prophet has been seen to have. And then he has been mentioned to be an Imam, that even Hazrat Nuh, we cannot prove from the Holy Quran that was an Imam.
Okay.
The Holy Prophet was all a Nabi. He was Sayyidul Nabi, Khatamun Nabiyyin, Sayyidul Mursalin. He was a Rasul, he was Habib, and he was Imam. He had all of those four titles.
So the prophet was imam and prophet.
Yes, he was a prophet, a Rasul, and also an Imam.
Okay.
But the successors of the Holy Prophet are only Imams, they're not Anbiya, they're not Rasul or Nabi.
Can I ask you therefore, what is difference between imam and prophet? What is difference in, number one, characteristic, and one in qualities?
Okay. Nabi is from Naba'a, the one who receives a message, who has wahi, and this wahi is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's Nabi. Rasul is the one who gets the wahi and he has to deliver. And Imam is leadership.
Right.
Leadership is the word Imam is from Amam,
Okay.
the one who is in front, who leads. Now the word Imam has been used for Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam, and Imamat is only given with a few qualities in the Holy Quran.
Right.
The word A'imma has been used in the Holy Quran. وَنَجْعَلْ نَجْعَلْهُمْ أَئِمَّةً. We make them Imams. A'imma is the plural of Imam. لَمَّا صَبَرُوا, with two qualities Allah mentions. When we try some people, so Imamat is only given to the ones who have been tried through trials. So they have a lot of trials in this dunya, like Karbala, like other trials.
Yes.
And secondly is that they have sabr in all of those. They have patience and special knowledge. So it is leadership and not prophethood. So they are not bringing a new religion, but they are protecting a message that was already given.
Can I ask you, when you mentioned special knowledge, what is the difference between the special knowledge of imam and special knowledge of Pagambar, prophet?
They are both wahi related. They are both related to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through revelation. They have an inspiration and revelation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And there is another term we use, ilm ladunni, which is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala again, or ilm imamat. The only difference would be that the capacity of knowledge is broader for the Imam because of this one hadith of the Holy Prophet that all Muslims have accepted unanimously, that ana madinatul ilmi wa aliyun babuha. If you want to truly see the knowledge, then I am knowledge, and there is one access to me. If you want to come to me, then come through Ali ibn Abi Talib. So this one tradition makes Imam, the Holy Prophet and Imam Ali alayhi salam, better than all other prophets in knowledge. He is the city of knowledge, and Imam Ali alayhi salam is the gate of knowledge.
Can I stop you for a second? There is one point, again, these are some of the questions I was about to ask you. Divine knowledge, you said. Is that attributed also to imams and prophets, or is it exclusively for prophet?
Divine knowledge
Yes.
is for both.
So you're now saying imams receive divine knowledge.
Yes, they have.
So are they communicating with God, therefore, directly?
Yes, we have traditions on that they communicate with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
But where does this now go? But going back to Quran, how does that now? Where does it anywhere in the Where does it anywhere say in the Quran that imams have knowledge and have transcended knowledge from Allah directly?
I'll prove it from the Holy Quran. Look at Surah Naml, the ant. Surah number 27. It says for Hazrat Suleiman that when King Solomon had his reign, and he said, "Who has missed that I'm getting the light straight on my face?" He said the people answered that there was supposed to be a bird here, Hud, mentioned in the Holy Quran. Hazrat Suleiman says that I would kill him if he does not give me a genuine answer for why was he missing. He comes back and he says that there is a city nearby, there's a government, and there is a queen that they don't have a king, they have a queen. So he says, who will bring me the throne of that queen? Qala ifritu min al-jinn. One of the jinns stands up and says that before you leave, I'll go and bring it. He said, that's too late. وَقَالَ مَنْ إِنْدَهُ عِلْمٌ مِنَ الْكِتَابِ. The one who had partial knowledge of the book stood up and said, before the blink of an eye, قَبْلَ أَنْ يَرْتَدَّ طَرَفُ عَيْنُكَ, I'll bring that throne. So the Quran mentions that when she was brought, Queen Saba, she said, this looks like my throne. كَأَنَّهُ هُوَ. It is like, exactly like my throne. The Quran says that Hazrat Asif answered her that this is, I have brought you with your throne. Okay? Now, this is قَالَ مَنْ إِنْدَهُ عِلْمٌ مِنَ الْكِتَابِ. The one who had partial knowledge of the book could do this. This is Surah Naml, Surah number 27. Now come to Surah number 13, Surah Ra'd, the last verse, verse number 43. Imam Ali was asked, Ya Ali, there are more than 600 verses that have revealed for you in the Holy Quran. Which verse do you like the most about yourself? He said, I like this one verse the most about myself. وَيَقُولُ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا لَسْتَ مُرْسَلًا قُلْ كَفَى بِاللَّهِ شَهِيدًا بَيْنِي وَبَيْنَكُمْ مَنْ عِنْدَهُ عِلْمُ الْكِتَابِ. The ones who disbelieve say that you are not an apostle, you have not been sent by God. Tell them that there are two witnesses sufficient for me. One is Allah Himself, and the other one who has the knowledge of the entire book. The one who had partial knowledge of the book was Asif, who brought the throne with the blink, before the blink of an eye. Imam Ali al-Islam is the one who has the knowledge of the entire book. وَمَنْ إِنْدَهُ عِلْمُ الْكِتَابِ, not min al-kitab, not partial. There is only one person who's been regarded in the Holy Quran who has the complete knowledge of the book, who has the knowledge of the entire book, the complete book. And that is Imam Ali al-Islam. Then how come his knowledge is not divine and is not special and is not pure? Because he has the entire book.
You also now mention another very heavy, contentious point, that Imam Ali has all knowledge of the book, the Quran, the Holy Quran. Therefore, a lot of non-Shia Muslims will argue, if Imam Ali has all this knowledge of the Quran, let's say the secrets of the Quran, then why is the Quran created for mankind? Is it some kind of secret coded text that we can't decipher as normal humans? Only someone like Imam Ali can decipher. Then what's the point of that book?
Okay. Now, we do not believe in this statement that Hasbuna Kitabullah, the book of Allah, is sufficient for us. The first person who made this claim after the death of the Holy Prophet, when he said that I'm leaving behind two weighty things, the Holy Quran and my progeny, he said, the book of Allah is sufficient, we don't want your progeny. He is the first person to turn to the door of Imam Ali alayhi salam. When he was asked a question, he said, Ya Ali, we need the answers from the Holy Quran. He said,
sorry, who is that person?
Umar ibn Khattab. He said to the Holy Prophet, we don't want your progeny. The book of Allah is sufficient. When the Jews came and asked a question from Abu Bakr and said, show us from the Holy Quran, he said, I don't know this. Do you know? He asked Umar, do you know this from the Holy Quran? He said, I don't. Let's go to Ali ibn Abi Talib. He would surely know. When they came to the door of Imam Ali alayhi salam, the Imam alayhi salam said, but did you not say to the Holy Prophet, we don't want your progeny, the book of Allah is sufficient? Then why have you come here now? So they realized that the book of Allah is not sufficient. We do not believe in this statement that the book of Allah is sufficient on its own. And none of the Muslims say that. In Sahih Muslim it says that the Holy Prophet said, I'm leaving behind two weighty things. He himself was the Mubayyin and Mufassir of Quran, the one who explained the Holy Quran and gave commentary to the Holy Quran. And after his demise, it was his progeny. The Quran on its own is not sufficient. It is a book of law that needs a teacher at all times. And that teacher is the Imam.
I'm going to move on from the intense questions there. I'm going to ask you a less serious question. This is you might find it funny, I don't know, but do Shias believe the enemies of Imams are doomed? So let me repeat that for you because I didn't get the flow of it. Do Shias believe the enemies of Imams are doomed?
The people who truly understand and become enemies are doomed, and they are held accountable in the hereafter, and they will go through extreme chastisement because of having enmity to the Imams alayhi salam.
I want to ask you another question directly from a Wahabbi brother. The earth does not exist without a Imam in it, so that if the believers add anything, it is rectified, and if they add anything, it is... Sorry, so if they add anything, it is rectified, and if they take away anything, it is completed for them. Have you heard this before?
We believe in this tradition of the Holy Prophet that لَوْلَا الْحُجَّةِ لَصَاخَتِ الْأَرْضُ بِأَهْلِهَا. Had it not been for the hujjat of Allah, the proof of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the surface of the earth, the entire earth would be destroyed.
Do you really believe that?
Yes, we believe that. We believe that the earth would not exist without a proof.
Where is your evidence and proof of this in, let's say, the Quran? Or what would solidify your argument?
Okay, now, with all the prophets and imams, we've always had on the surface of the earth a guide from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and a hujjat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. ظهر الفساد في البر والبحر بما كسبت أيدي الناس. All the corruption that you see on the surface of the earth and in the oceans is the doing of mankind. So there should be the corruption. There should be, against the corruption, there should be an adil, not just an adil, but a ma'soom, infallible imam, infallible representative of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that always guides. There are tens of traditions from the Holy Prophet, 119 traditions that Atullah Safiqul Pagani has mentioned from our Sunni brothers in his book, which he has mentioned, he has written on the Prophet Muhammad. So he has compiled 119 traditions that mention the importance of the Imam.
One last question. Do the Shias hate Wahhabis?
We don't hate anyone. We may dislike the beliefs or the acts where they destruct the harams, but because that's what they've been taught. They've been told that this is allowed and this is Islamic. That's where we